My name is Mayra Martinez. I'm majoring in education public policy, and I identify myself as a Mexican American student.
How do you feel about your identity, and how does it shape you?
Over my course here at Penn State, I think that I become more exposed to what my identity is. Before, I always kind of just went with what my surroundings were, which was like I lived in a very Puerto Rican based environment. And not to say that I thought myself as Puerto Rican, but I never really felt that I understood my Mexican identity until I got here, and that was because I felt that everybody around me was white, and I felt very isolated. I felt that nobody really understood my cultural background.
How do you feel about being Mexican American? And do you identify at all as being Chicana as well, or?
Yes, there's definitely times when I do and don't. I think like with anything else, I'm not just one thing. I have different faces. Sometimes I feel more American, and those times are when I'm with like my family and I feel like talking proper. It's like I'm kind of shunned for being too white, or when I'm here, I'm like, my skin color obviously makes me feel more Mexican than American, and different experiences also just make me feel like I'm a Chicana, just because it's like different ideas that I have and how I express myself and things that I believe in.
And what do you believe in?
I believe in equality. I feel that here I've kind of learned how to grow, especially in this environment where I'm surrounded by so many white students. I've learned to understand what barriers students of color face. Before, I kind of just felt that I was in a more equal space, that everybody was very much similar, and here I've learned to understand that there's a lot of disparity and inequality, and I believe that that's something that should not be accepted, and it's something that needs to be changed in America, and I think that we should start by making changes here on campus.
During your time here at Penn State, has there ever been a situation or an experience that made you feel like you weren't welcome here, or you felt like you were an underrepresented person?
I've always, in my time here at Penn State, I felt that there have been instances where I felt that people don't think that I belong here, and especially in class discussions, particularly when we talk about affirmative action, people are like, I always feel like those kind of conversations come with, like, that people have me in mind when they think of, like, oh, she shouldn't be here, and I always find myself trying to justify why I'm here. I always kind of like, and I probably shouldn't, but like I say, well, I had like a 4.2 GPA in high school. I was involved in everything, and I always feel like I have to recite my credentials in high school to affirm that I do belong here, and it's not just because of my skin color.
Like, have you ever been, or you ever felt like you were targeted, or you felt like someone said something in the class which was very, like, outlandish, or in passing, whatever situation it was in?
As a Mexican, people always have something negative to say about Mexicans in general, and I kind of take those things personally when they talk about illegal immigration. People always want to just look at the negatives and don't want to get the full picture and get really informed about the issues. And one of the ways that I think Penn State can help ensure that students get that full knowledge is through things such as a stronger Latino studies curriculum on campus, and it's something that is basically non-existent or not seen as important. So I think that could help a lot of discussions and the way how people understand what Latinos face and what the real issues are.
Do you feel like ethnic studies are valued at the university?
No, I don't think that they're valued at all. I think that they're usually just seen as some extracurricular or something that is in addition to. It's not seen as something that is part of a core knowledge-based thing.
And in terms of like race relations on campus, what did you think about? Do you remember the Chi Omega thing?
Yes.
The Mexican party, Fiesta, and I mean Cinco de Mayo is around the corner. So how do you feel about how people, one, perceive Latino culture here on campus, and two, how the university responds to like events like that.
That incident was very, to me personally, I didn't take too much offense to it. And I think that has to do with the fact that I'm used to people doing those doing jokes like that, and always having negative stereotypes about Mexicans. And in a way, I have a thicker skin towards those kind of things. I'm not sensitive about it, and that's not a good thing to say. And it should be more of an insult on them, not on me as a Mexican. That's basically how I felt. That it wasn't something that hurt me, but I think that it's definitely something that the university needs to start acknowledging more, and especially students need to start speaking up a little bit. And I think that comes with me also not feeling insulted by it. But there's so many other incidents that happen on campus that need to be addressed as well.
Do you feel like the campus as a whole has an issue with like cultural competency? Like what is being culturally competent and what is offensive versus what is not offensive?
Well, I remember in Latino studies in 127, I had one of my peers was called lazy, and it was in a joking manner. Supposedly this white guy called him lazy because Mexicans are lazy, and then there was this whole debate about why there's this stereotype about it. There's always this image of a Mexican with a big hat sitting aside a cactus and just sleeping, right? You guys seen that stereotype? And we had to tell him that the reality is that they do that because they wake up at 5 in the morning to go work in fields, and they take a nap when the sun is the strongest. And he just said that never occurred to him, that the reason that there's this image is because he's taking a nap from waking up so early and having to work all day. And those kind of things remind me of how incompetent people are about different things that regard cultural differences.
So when you hear "We Are Penn State,"
Yeah.
what does the "we" mean to you in "We Are"?
When I picture it, it's definitely not me. I don't see myself as being that part of we, because I just imagine a lot of white people chanting it at football games or tailgating it during tailgates, but I don't picture people that look like me included in that we. But I do have a lot of pride in my school, because I have pride in myself for being here, since I'm one of the first people in my family to come to college. So that in that regard, that's why I'm proud of I'm proud of Penn State, but I'm not proud of everything that it represents and who it represents.
So when you came as a freshman, how did you feel about Penn State? Was it like a culture shock for you? Did you feel isolated? Did you feel...
Yeah, I felt completely isolated because I came in 2 weeks after the start of the semester because, well, I won't really get into detail, but because of immigration, I wasn't able to come back to the States in time for classes. So when I came back, everything was everybody had already formed their groups and gotten into the flow of their classes, and I was just like, it was my first day, and it's really, I think I was a little bit more isolated than normal students, because I was new and everybody was already into their routines. But the fact that I had some friends here from high school and from a college program that I did, I think that I was able to not be so isolated. But even then, I kind of thought that it was going to be easier to make friends than it really was. That was because in my high school, I kind of socialized a lot with white students due to being in AP classes. Everybody in my class was white, and I was just used to those kind of people being my friends. And when it wasn't like that here, I kind of found it really hard to be happy and to feel like I was part of this university.
If you could give like a piece of advice to your freshman self now, looking back.
I would have told myself to be a little bit more outgoing, to not feel that so shy. I think that the fact that I didn't make friends so easily kind of made me just hold back and not socialize, and I was like, kind of gave up on it and for a while. So I think I would just tell myself to keep trying, because it doesn't just happen overnight or in a week. You kind of have to give it time. And I would tell myself to be patient and not be so reserved.
Do you feel like there even is a Latino presence here on at the university in any regard? Because I feel like because I know Rhonda was the 4th African American homecoming queen. I don't think Penn State has ever had a Latina homecoming queen, no.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like, I know a lot of times a lot of stuff is focused on like black students here at the university, but do you feel like Penn State has a Latino presence at all here? Or do you feel like it's something that's up and coming, or?
I think that it's not, as of now, there is no Latino presence. There's small groups and like clubs that want to make it grow, but like I said before, students, there's such a small portion that it's not able to grow. I mean, if there's one year, there may be like a successful Latino caucus or MESA or different things, organizations that make things happen, but with Latino rates being so low, how can you expect like there to be such a good Latino presence for future students, or for it to actually be long lasting? It's something that's just not happening because of the rates.
Or a change you want to see happen eventually or something?
I just want Penn State administrators to remember that diversity isn't something that's just going to happen overnight or from one school year to another. That it's an effort that needs to be happening continuously and from year to year, and we can't just give up on it when our numbers reach a certain level. So I just want us to keep on trying and to work together. My name is Mayra Martinez. I am Mexican American, and I am Penn State.